New Thought Media Network proudly presents the High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour, 60 minutes of connections, insights, and conversations to raise your vibe. Join Rev Julie and Rev Skip each week for an exploration of living a high vibe life. Tune in live every Friday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time or anytime during the week on our YouTube channel. The High Vibe Hour, only on New Thought Media Network.
Hey.
And we're back. Hey, everybody.
So
welcome
back.
to another episode of the High Vibe Hour here only on the New Thought Media Network. And I'm hanging out with my friend, Reverend Julie, and I'm Reverend Skip, and I am a New Thought teacher, a minister, a author. And this week I started to record my audiobook for my new book. So I guess I'm a voice audio book, I don't know, author. So I
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Congratulations. I'm
Thank you.
Reverend Julie Moret. I'm an inspirational speaker and spiritual teacher at the Agape International Spiritual Center, founded and directed by Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. And I got back into writing this week. I'm so pumped. Like, I'm kind of remembering the things that I feel passionate about. So,
You're an
both of
author.
us. Yeah. And you know what? You're a great writer because you do a lot of the copy. You do the copy for this show. And I'm always looking at it like, ooh, so well done.
So here's my secret. I'm going to tell you my secret. I'm telling everyone the secrets.
Are
People
you
ask me, how are you
ChatGPT?
writing? No. Here's what I do. I speak audio into an audio recorder, what it's going to be and what's coming out from my heart. And then I'll put it into an AI editor, which will give it all the things that it needs to give and do all the copy editing. But all my books, since my first book, my poetry, everything, I spoke it into a smartphone or into a voice recorder, and then I dictated from there. I've always done this. So pretty much what I do with what we're going to talk about, you give me what you want to put a part of it, and I put mine in there as well. And then I will speak it and give it its flavor and then just clean it up. That's it. That's how I do it.
AI, what do you use?
I have two. I use Claude and I also use Chat. But depending on what I'm doing, and sometimes when it just comes out perfect, I'm reading, I'm going, okay, it doesn't need any cleanup. And that's when I see, oh, I really misspelled there. Instead of THERE, I have put THEIR. So that's why I believe having this tool to help you to catch it, because I experience dyslexia. I'm not a dyslexic. I learned that long ago. That's not who I am. I experience dyslexia. And I also, with this neurodivergent experience, sometimes I'm reading what I think I want to be saying, and it's something totally different. So that's how, it helps me in my writing.
Okay, I love it. Hey, by the way, did you notice I made the roses background?
I did. I saw it when I was coming in there. I was like,
it?
that's really good. I do. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful.
All right, what are you sipping on over there?
Okay, so it's so interesting because I did something and I went, oh, okay. I'm actually having a combination of teas today, and this is a flowery tea, and this one is called Enchanted Love, and it's out of this spot. You can't see it because my lights are so bright, but Enchanted Love is a flower tea, and then on top of that, I put a mix of Sencha tea, which is green tea to help you to clean out your gut for gut health, and it helps you to the visceral fat that we hold on to. Sencha tea helps. Green tea. So this is what it looks like. So because it's so light today, I put in my milk into it. I put a little bit of oat milk into it. A lot that I did more than I wanted to, and it came out like milky.
Oh, I thought that you had a white cup. Oh, okay.
No.
All the way there.
This is a tea cup today. It's
Do you have
a little
any
bit
sweetener?
Huh?
Do you have sweetener in that?
A little tiny bit. Sometimes I use agave. Sometimes I'll use a little bit of honey. And sometimes I'll just, just enjoy the taste of the tea. Sometimes sweetening will actually dense the flavor of the tea. And these flowery teas are very, very empowering in their tastes and how they make you feel. So I don't want anything to mute it or make it more
Right.
dense. And then if it does, I go with the flow of it, and that's a great new taste.
There
Yeah.
you go.
What do
I'm
you
doing I'm doing my rose petals again. And
do?
normally I would strain them off. I think it's called Sweet Spell. And it's just like the loveliest feeling to open this up, and
Smell.
it's like just rose petals.
I love that.
And it smells so sweet. And you know what that reminded me of?
Hmm.
I'm thinking about the habits that we get into. And like I used to have a nighttime habit of um I used to have a nighttime habit of eating 3 healthy chocolate chip cookies a night. Like they were cookies that I made, so I knew what was in them, but that was like my habit.
Right?
And then I remember at a point I switched it to nighttime having like nuts and fruit. And then I remember changing it to fruit. And then I read somewhere where you can actually have a habit of herbal tea that's satisfying. And it was like it took me a minute, but now when like the last thing I have when in at night is no longer even a snack, but I'll have a tea, and it's the ritual of it. I realize like
Mm.
we can switch our habits, we can switch
Yeah,
our rituals, and I'm not saying that herbal tea equals 3 cookies. It's totally different. Like I remember there was some model once that said she freezes green grapes and they taste like ice cream. I am
oh
not
my
saying
God,
that
I
at
love
all.
that.
No, a frozen grape tastes like a frozen grape. But the point is like we can how like inspiring it is to me that we can change habits to the point where
Yeah.
when it gets, later in the evening, I now crave like I'm ready for my herbal tea. So all that to say, I'm having my rose petal tea and it feels so lovely. Like the
Yeah.
smell of it, and it doesn't taste sweet. I don't have anything in it. It's just and normally I would strain off, the dried flowers, but I have the petals floating around on top, and it feels very
Mm,
like
mm, mm.
decadent and lovely and happy Valentine's Day-ish.
Happy Valentine's Day. And hello to Liz and hello, Matthew. We see you. And hello to Karen. And Karen, we are the High Vibe Hour, and I'm Rev Skip, and this is Rev Julie, and we welcome you here. We're doing well. Thank you for
Yes.
checking in. Part of this, it sparks another question. This is why I love our conversation. How do you feel about alternative meats? Because some people
Oh,
like, okay, I love a Beyond Burger. I love Beyond Burger and Beyond, and to me, it tastes exactly like the meat products that I'm not eating or consuming right now. And people are saying, well, that doesn't taste like it. I'm like, I've convinced myself that it does. What do you say
um,
about that? Talk to me.
so a couple of things. And I just a couple of things.
Yeah.
One is I'm not a huge fan of like the Impossible Burger or
Okay.
the one that you just brought up. I think I've heard that they have lots of added ingredients that aren't necessarily healthy. Um, and for me, sometimes they smell so much like meat that it
Mhm.
freaks me out. And like I remember, I think I told you this before. I was at a restaurant and I ordered an Impossible Burger, and I actually sent it back because I thought it was a real burger, and I went back and forth with the waitress like I couldn't yeah. And so I just said no. So I'd rather just that's not my thing. There is a product called
Yeah.
Meaty, Meati. They're a brand, and they do steak and chicken, and they're plant-based. The steak I think is gross, but the chicken's really good. They're having financial issues. I don't know when they'll be, making their product again. They've been out, and I just had my last one yesterday, so I'm
Oh my
like
goodness.
trying to going to find them on the black market or something. Like I don't know
Oh
how
my
to get
God.
these.
Market
Um,
alternative meats.
I
Love
need to
it.
go underground and find that meaty product. But that's pretty good, and it's very clearly not chicken, but it has the
Yeah.
texture of it. But how did we get? I thought we were talking about Valentine's Day. How did we get to
I don't know,
plant-based
but
meats?
that's how we do it. But I think because plant-based is loving your body, but I still love, I mean, I don't eat steak anymore, but I love the taste of steak. I love the taste of a burger. So for me to get an alternative burger and love that instead of the burger that you get anywhere else, I think that's a step forward. And maybe one day I will fall out of love with the burger. But I love a burger. I am in love with a burger.
Can I tell you, when I do a big mountain climb, like I do these big, hard, 3, 4, 5 hour hikes. When I get down off the mountain, I love the idea of a great big burger. But usually, like, I have places I go to where it's not quite, it doesn't like smell as much like an animal.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're here for Valentine's Day. What the heck?
What are you doing? What do you do? Because you're married, family. You have so much love around you. Is there anything special? And I'm going to tell you right now. I call this. I call it Happy Single Awareness Day because that's what it is for us that are single. But I'm now calling it Self-Love Day. But what are you doing with your hubby?
Single Awareness Day. I love that. So there are a couple things. One is, as you know, I was on a trip with this women's group I'm a part of.
Yeah.
And you'll have to tune into my Instagram tomorrow because we took a photo and it is gorgeous and sexy and beautiful. And normally we don't post anything from our get-togethers, and one of the people wants to post this picture. So tune into my Instagram tomorrow.
Okay, I will.
So, and that was like, so the Galentine's thing I'm relatively new to, but boy, having friendships that you can say everything with, that you can be yourself with, that you can show up any which way, that feels like a big kind of love to me. So I'm really proud that I am cultivating that. And, shout out to the Queen's Crew. That's what we call ourselves.
I love that name.
Yes. And you'll definitely want to tune in tomorrow to that photo because I can't believe we're posting it. But it's fun. It's fun to be all sides of ourselves, Yeah, Liz, I saw that Single Awareness Day. Oh, that's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is, like, I have two sides to me. I am probably the truest, most authentic side to me is it's kind of like an athlete, the kind of strictness, the kind of discipline with which, if I were single living in a mountain cave, with which I would function. I have this Qigong master, and he's so hardcore, and he celebrates no holidays whatsoever. And it's like, just share love when you want to share love. And so I do have that vein in me that if I were on my own, I probably wouldn't be doing anything. I probably wouldn't be hallmarking out on it. But I do have a family, and so I have great big boxes in the storage area for every holiday, from Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, you name it. And it's really funny because I do it up. Like, the house is done up with decorations for everything. And I thought when my son went away to college that, like, okay, we're done with that. And the first holiday that rolled around, and I don't even think it was a big holiday, but I didn't have decorations up. And my son was like, huh? Like, what's up? Like, where are the decorations? So I think it's precious. And I think it's a way that we bond. And so I have like the Valentine's decorations out. I have his like kindergarten Valentines when all the classmates write little things. They're all over the counter. And it's really sweet. And then I put some chocolates out that he keeps finding. And so it's sweet. Yeah. How about you? What's your
I am the absolute opposite. I would say 2 years around, are we in March yet? I would say, well, I was in a relationship in February 2 years ago, but I also realized I'm moving back to LA. we're getting that place of, okay, this is not really where we want to be together. And we start to do I call it conscious uncoupling, because there wasn't a lot of fighting. There was just disagreements, and we realized we're uncoupling. So I would say March 2 years ago, it was very interesting. In February around there, we did exchange gifts. And if I'm in a relationship with someone, I'm going to get you a gift or some flowers or whatever. And it's a love day, but I celebrate love throughout the year. So I do celebrate. And if I'm not in a relationship, I hallmark on myself. As you see, I'm wearing one of my brand new t-shirts that I'm giving to people when they go to Bali with me. In fact, the Bali trip is completely sold out.
Wait,
actually,
we got the 2 more?
We got one more. We have one space for one woman who wants to come, who wants to share a room, but we're calling it sold out because it is good. So these are the t-shirts that I'm giving. It says love is the answer, Rev Skip Retreats. You see the hearts around here, all the hearts. So I'm wearing my t-shirt because of Valentine's Day, and tomorrow we celebrate. My sister made her transition, but she was born on Valentine's Day. So I'm constantly celebrating her birthday on Valentine's Day. I also make sure I take care of myself if I'm in a relationship or not. I normally get a mani-pedi. I have my mani-pedi set up for tomorrow. I'm getting jungle red from the movie The Women, and I'm just going to have my redness and red toes. I'm going to probably go to a movie or do something so incredibly good for myself and take myself out for a very good meal, because I believe the greatest love that we can have is self-love. And it's not the self on the external, it's a part of it, but there's a divine presence within all of us that says you are worthy. This is your birthright to experience the goodness of life. So for me, it's been a shift, and that didn't happen until I actually began going to Agape about 22 years ago, where I started thinking, oh, this is about self-love. This is about divine love. So God and myself, we're going out on a date tomorrow. And we're
I love that so much. I really do. And that's something that I think is going to be, see a movie called Wicked. Karen
I saw Wicked.
See a movie called Wicked.
Thank you. Yeah, Karen.
Yeah. So I feel like I love the romantic, passionate side of Valentine's Day. And I also more and more am thinking about how like hearing the words, self-love, it's kind of a catch-all, but like, how do you actually do that? So in a bit, I do want to get to that. Like how do we do that? Because at the core of it, no matter what relationships I have, if I'm not loving myself authentically, nothing else is really working. And a lot of times I think self-love comes from like the tricks we do, the successes we have, the wins we have, the titles, the things, the accolades. And so I know you're going to do something around the history of Valentine's Day, like how we even got there. But I also want to get to, what does it mean? How do I feel when I'm loving myself? Like, what do we do or be that lets us have that experience of really loving ourselves? Because we attract at the level of our frequency. So when I'm loving myself for me, those are the kinds of people, places, circumstances, and events that I'm going to attract into my world,
And the very important, thank you so much, Karen. Subscribe to our channel, to either your channel or our channel. Thank you so much, Karen. Appreciate when you guys subscribe and you make a difference in our algorithm. So continue to subscribe, like, leave a comment. And we say hi to Josie Vargas. Hello. Okay, good to see y'all. But what I do know, and we talked about this last week, and this has been more profound for me now, the self-love I want to fall in love with is the big self. Because if I fall in love with the little self, that gives me room to really not like the little self. And so when I begin to look at my accolades and all the things that I've done, all the rewards, and I've done all the recognition, when something doesn't go the way I am attached to it going, like a new book, I begin to be hard on myself. I begin to shame myself. Or if I'm very connected with my body and physical fitness, and I teach yoga, all the training and all that, years and years and years and years, and putting my attention on how my body looks on the outside, as soon as I gain 10, 15 pounds or whatever, because we go up and down, I know I do, I begin to body shame myself. And here is the work for me. In spirit, in the big self, there is no shame, blame, doubt, worry. There is no conditions. So how can I just fully love God in me, or spirit, whatever you want to call it, or love within me? How can I fully embrace who I am really? Because who I am is God, God in the flesh, who we are. So when I fall in love with that, then I am freeing myself to fall in love with someone else. And the reason why I'm not dating, it's been 2.5 years since I've really been on a date, or it's been almost 2 years actually physically being with someone. I'm not going to give that away until I'm fully connected with who I am as a spiritual being. And I know I still have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. And I have friends who say to me, "Oh, you haven't been with someone in a year and a half. You haven't been." I'm like, that hasn't bothered me. Intimacy with someone else is, I want to do it different. I want to fall in love with me and be intimate with me and love me, not in a selfish way. But I heard, I used to say this all the time: would you date yourself? And I have to look at myself. Well, I would date me. I would definitely date me. I would date me, but there's a time that I would.
Depends on my mood and the day. And my hormones.
Would you date yourself, Julie?
That's a really great question. That's a really great question. Wow, that's like something to strive towards, like on a daily, hourly basis, to be the kind of person that I would want to date. I really love that. I really love that. Like, that's something I don't want to like quickly just say, yeah, sure. Like, I want to sit with that. Like, how am I being in the world? How am I being today? How am I being in the moment? That's, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that.
One of the things that came up recently for me, it happens every year around this time. When I think about the decisions I had made not to stay in relationships that were not serving my higher vision. At the time, I didn't have the articulation or the language to say what it was. I just wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I've never been one to really hang into a space that I wasn't fully happy. And so I go back to the times where I have, said to people that I've been in relationships with, going, this is not working. I'm not happy. I got to leave. And having that ability to notice when I'm not happy, when I'm not feeling connected to someone, I don't want to stay in. And I know a lot of people who do stay in periods of time because you made a commitment. My mother was like that, or I know other parents have been together forever. You make a commitment, you're there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of like, that's a big question. There are a lot of other factors that factor into something like that. But
Absolutely.
I think going back to it, like, I remember you sent me, Dr. Sanjay is in the house. I remember you sent me something about the history of Valentine's, and I was really curious, and I read it, and I was kind of like, huh.
Yeah, that's
Tell
very
us about it.
interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And also too, I want to say this. If you're in a relationship that you're not happy in, I don't want you to say, well, Rev Skip just told me to leave. That's not what I said. People are like, did you tell me to leave my husband? No, I did not. I'm talking about this personal experience for me, understanding when you're not happy and not staying has been a choice for me. And then going back into that past of those decisions. But let's talk about the history of Valentine's Day.
Wait. I just want to hold on. We keep going, but wait.
Yeah.
But I do want to follow up on that.
Yeah. Sure.
If anybody's in a relationship that they're not happy in, I think the first step is to like figure out how to make yourself happy. Like, to
That's
take the
it.
steps to build up myself inside. Like, what are the things? Because if I don't clean it up in this relationship, I'm
It'll be
just going
waiting
to
for you.
attract it in the next one. I
It'll be
remember
waiting for
years ago, Dr. Phil made a comment that the time to leave a relationship is when you're emotionally flat, unless it's abusive, but like when you're emotionally flat, meaning, and I don't know that that's necessarily the case, but what I received from that is when it doesn't out of proportionately charge you, because as long as there's an out of proportionate charge, that means there's something to be worked on within the self. And so that's the first step I look to, is what within me needs to be healed, nurtured, loved. And if I'm not happy, how do I create my happiness? Right? To me, that's a first step.
And this is where we go back to this idea, those who are celebrating Singles Awareness Day.
Happy Singles Awareness Day.
Happy Singles Awareness Day. Are you loving yourself enough where you want to spend time with yourself, where you want to talk to yourself and love yourself? And if you're in a relationship, I love what you're saying, because when the biggest movie lie that I ever heard, that I believe, Jerry Maguire, when Jerry walks through the door and she says, he says, you complete me.
Right.
I'm like, boo, nobody can complete you. But we've learned
so
that.
Good.
We've learned
so good.
that. Oh my God, I complete someone. And you also, if you do that, that person disappoints, you're left going shattered. Like, where'd you go,
Yeah.
boo-boo? I thought I completed you.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's so important to remember these things. It's like we know this stuff, but the regular reminder, like,
So
how am I taking care of myself? How am I satisfying my needs? As I love myself, that's the kind of people, places, circumstances, and events I'm going to attract to me. So that's like step numero uno, always.
Step one. The other step two is be really, really, I don't say be careful what you pray for. Be very discerning of what you really want, because there are people who look at Pookie and Nene. You know Pookie and Nene. Pookie is that boy that you got to have. I love Pookie. Look at Pookie. Look at Nene, that girl that you're like, oh my God, she needs to be in my life. And Pookie and Nene gets into your life and you realize that they are God cleverly disguised as a maniac. And you're like, oh my God, if I could just get out of this relationship with Pookie and Nene, what was I thinking about? If you're not tapped into this idea of falling in love with yourself, your true nature, Pookie and Nene is not going to fix you.
No.
Pookie and Nene is just going to make it more challenging.
Yeah. So in the next half hour, I know we're going to start talking about what are the things like that works, because it's different for everybody. Like what works for you that helps you feel loved. But I did want to dip into, like, where did this whole Valentine's thing come from?
The time we come back, we'll jump into that and then we'll get some practices for self-love. Yeah?
Perfect. All right. So stick with us.
Tuned.
We'll see you in a few.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger, learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website www.ntmedia.org to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer.
We're back.
Welcome back to the High Vibe Hour. Skip, I think you're muted.
Our internet is going in and out. Can you hear me?
Yes,
so
I can.
I'm on a lag time, so anything could happen in this moment here. So I love the internet. I love internet shows, but we are under the love of the internet. So hopefully we'll keep on going through. So welcome back, everybody. We are talking about Valentine's Day, and I hope you can hear me. I know you're going to hear exactly what you need to hear. So the history of Valentine's Day, believe it or not, it came from a pagan ritual from ancient Rome. It was a fertility celebration, a fertility festival, and it was about the survival of the Roman people. So it was a time that people came together, made love, had a wonderful experience. It was great. It was about bringing the life force. The root chakra was in it because that's some grounding stuff right there. It was about really coming together in a festival and time of love. And then it moved into, that was pre-Christian time in Rome. And then in the Christian time, it actually is really cool to think about. This priest named Valentine was actually under a condemnation for marrying people because Rome at the time had declared that young men could not get married. Now, I'm sure there's a bigger story behind that. I don't know what it is. Claudius II, he decided that men can't get married, but he was doing it under this under in the closet, I guess we could say. He was doing it in the closet, and they called him Saint Valentine. That's where the name Saint, I know, right? It's like, So from the space where he's doing underground marriages came Saint Valentine's, and then it moved into this space of, in the 1800s, they took this time, they celebrated, and start to really begin to commercialize it. So Jeffrey Chancellor became the first person to really begin to make it a national day that we make a declaration to the people that we love. From there, it moved into the Hallmark and the commercial exchange, and it was Esther Howland first, like cards of gratitude to your loved ones and celebration. Then Hallmark took it over and created this huge entire movement, which that is what we get it right now, is this Hallmark movement of commercializing roses, flowers.
Yes.
It came from Hallmark. But the original of this came from a pagan ritual before Christianity.
Oh, that's beautiful. It just reminded me, you know what I'm doing for Valentine's Day? I am getting a bunch of blueberries, and I'm going to put them on like freezer paper in the shape of a heart. And then I'm going to melt some vegan chocolate and drizzle it over it so that it all sticks together. And then I sprinkle pomegranate seeds and maybe hemp hearts and some rose petals. And it becomes this beautiful thing that's like personal, you know? So
are you going to record that and put that on Instagram tomorrow while you're doing it?
That'll be fun. That's a great idea.
I'm so like, I want to see how you're going to do that.
Okay.
Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from?
Well, oh, I see a lot of folks do that with just making bark, like make your own chocolate bark. And
I've
so
seen
I
it.
thought, oh, you could do that in a heart shape. And then you're like loving people in a way that tastes yummy and is also pretty healthy.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's my
Um,
plan. I
your
want to share
history.
a
Oh,
poem.
okay. Oh, share. But I was going to ask you one other thing though. Have you, and then you then share the poem. Have you always tapped into the commercialized part of the Hallmark, like Valentine's? And did you ever get the most perfect gift ever?
Oof. Um, I think it's kind of weird because I don't really care about that stuff, but if I'm with somebody and I'm not gifted something on Valentine's Day, it is kind of like I know
Yeah.
I said don't do anything, but that meant do
Well,
something.
I get it. Share the
And it
poem.
should
I
be
can't wait to
flowers
hear
and it
it.
should be chocolate. Like I remember one time I was
Okay.
dating some guy and we were both like we were doing the whole motivational traveling all around the world. Like we were a great NLP team and it was my
Mm,
birthday. And like all bets are off when it's your birthday. Like I want a great big piece of real live full sugar chocolate cake. And he gave me a slice of like vegan carrot cake that tasted like cardboard. And I
oh,
knew he's a wonderful person, but I knew he is not my person in that moment.
yeah,
So,
I
so
love
there's
that.
so in some ways, like, yeah, I am kind of seduced into the Hallmark thing. But it's kind of fun. And
Mm,
like once my son came around, yes, all in. But my point in bringing up that recipe that I'm doing is
mm,
rather than go out and spend $6 on a card now, a lot of
mm.
times I'll make my own thing. And it comes from the heart and it's fun and it's sweet and it's personalized. And so I really like that. Like
I love that.
decorating the house with, the Valentines that he's received from like nursery school and kindergarten is adorable. So that
Mm.
works for me. But this is so I got this poem, gosh, so many years ago. It was shared at a wedding, and this embodies like that love, like that romantic love that when I think of Valentine's Day, normally I think of this. This is by Robert Ingersoll, and it
Mm.
says, "Love is the magician, the enchanter that changes worthless things to joy and makes right royal kings and queens of common clay. It is the perfume of that wondrous flower, the heart. And
Mm.
without that sacred passion, that divine swoon, we are less than beasts. But with it, earth is heaven and we are gods." That just want to make you like buckle to your
Ooh.
knees. But here's the catch. When I heard that like 20 years ago, the way that I heard it is that I will receive that kind of passion and love through another person. Like that's how I get that. And
Yeah.
instead, what I'm thinking of now is how can I be my own divine swoon? Like, how can I
Mm.
live in the divine swoon? Like, even when we first connected today, before we started filming, I was feeling kind of flat, nothing in particular. It was just the day flat, blah. And then we prayed in. And the second we prayed
Yeah.
in, I remembered who I really am. I felt energy, I felt aliveness. And so it reminds me of how do we become our own divine swoon on a regular basis
Yeah.
and not just leave it up to whim, because so often in life I have left it up to whim, or I walk into a room and it's whatever the vibe of the room is. Michael Bernard Beckwith often says, whatever you want, you bring it. So
Yeah.
I'm reminded right now, if I want that divine swoon, how do I be it in my daily life, and be it in like every aspect? It means the way that I dress, the way that I care for myself, the way that I eat, the way that I move in the world. It's everything.
It's
And that
everything.
feels exciting to me.
Yeah.
That feels like, because then my good is not in somebody else's hands.
What I'm always reminding myself when I'm in a relationship, may be going incredibly well, or maybe it's the invitation to go deeper. I always remind myself the only thing that's missing in this relationship is what I'm not willing to bring,
Mm.
because that gives
Oh, say that
me,
again. Say that again. Say that again. Do that
the,
again.
The only thing that is missing in this relationship is what I'm not willing to bring.
Oh my gosh.
That
Mic
gives it's all about me. It is all about me, not in a selfish way, but what am I here to bring to the relationship? And I remember many times I had to say that to myself when I was putting my disappointment onto someone else. I remember having to love myself through any situation that was feeling like, oh, that person's not enough. Or that person's not enough. You know, so I've been living by that for a while. We can even look at that for the earth. The only thing that's missing on this planet is what I'm not willing to bring.
Right.
So I'm seeing a call for compassion. Am I willing to bring compassion and kindness? I believe that's the biggest Valentines that we can do for the planet right now.
Right. So that's where this topic of doing a deep dive on Valentine's came from.
Mm.
It's like, I am so mindful of the people in Iran that are still marching, still protesting. It's not on our news, but they're
Still
still
dying.
putting everything on the line. I'm mindful of minefields happening all around the world and across the United States. And so I'm a bottom line person. Like I always try to go like, how do you get to the root? How do you get to the root? How do you get to the root? And the root has to come from loving ourselves. And if I love myself truly, then there's an overflow, and what I share is authentic and meaningful. And the frequency of me. Astrophysicists say if you wave your hand in one place, it has ripple effects that extend to the farthest star. So if I
Mhm.
can ripple out something that is badass, powerful, loving, strong, that's going to ripple out. So, that's why I thought, well, when we talk about Valentine's Day, dear God, don't let me put it in somebody else's hands. That's why I love that you're taking yourself out on a date, you know?
Absolutely. And if we truly believe our teachings, because we're a New Thought movement here, if we truly believe that we are a collective, there's only one soul. And I'm reading this incredible book called The Journey of the Magic of the Soul by Patrick Hubula. And he lives here in LA, and he talks about this. There's only one soul. There's only
Right.
one collective. There's one energy. So what I'm putting into this frequency, this collective experience of love, I'm the epicenter of what I'm sending into this collective. And yeah, I believe right now we're getting a polarity of different frequencies in this collective. We're feeling it. So what is my call to do? Am I called to balance this energy? Am I called to bring the love and the compassion? Am I called from that place of who I am to really be honest with what I truly believe? One other thing too, and I know we're going to do some practices. I believe that we try to think about this separation of church and state and what's going on here, and we're not supposed to be here. And I believe that we move with love from our values and our principles. So if we believe in the oneness, the unity, not uniformity, but we believe inclusivity means everyone's welcome to the table, how am I acting in the world? Am I bringing that Valentine of inclusivity into the world? Am I accepting of everyone? Am I working on this space, which is the bigger Valentine of how am I moving to bring love on this planet that is calling forth a need for more love, or a invitation for us to raise the vibration of love?
Right. And that, for me, that circles back to my first step, first and
Yeah.
foremost, is how am I loving myself? And, I wanted to talk about like, what do you do? What do you be that lets you feel like real love for yourself, that love that's not based on accomplishments, successes, wins, anything that's extrinsic, that intrinsic. And one of the things I do, I've shared this before, is I keep in my women's group, we call this our littles.
Oh, you're little. I see. Yeah, I see. You're little. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep a picture of her because, you know, it it may feel too big or complex or funky to like love myself in this moment, but when I look at her, there's no efforting. It's like loving my child. When I look at her and everything she's been through and experienced, like that opportunity to extend love to her is a helpful door in for me. of self-love. And another thing that that really works is when I practice qigong, that feels very self-loving. Like I'm remembering myself. There are a couple things I do that when I do them, I feel love for myself, and then it always interests me how much I avoid doing them, put them off. Like that's so interesting. If you think of the top most important thing is to love yourself, and how distracted I let myself get or busy to avoid those things. So for me, the top three things are when I practice qigong, when I
Okay.
write. I've started writing again, and I remember how much I love it. Like that's my thing. That's my expression. And
Yeah.
then the third is dance. And I keep saying, like, there's this person on Instagram, Raphael, I think, that's got like this sexy, beautiful classes. Like, why am I not doing it? I could do it online. And so it's such a good reminder to check in and be like, what works for you? What is self-love for you?
Yeah.
What is it for you? How do you feel self-love?
Oh, I love your top three, so I'm going to go deep and pull out my top three.
Okay.
Number one, I believe that my number one is when I take time to rest, because I don't do enough of it.
Yeah.
When I take time just to do nothing, I know it's like those moments where I'm just laying in bed and I'm just going, oh. But mind you, to get there, like this whole, I haven't really taken a day off for about, I'd say 2 months. Maybe 2 months, really having a full day off and having that space, giving myself that self-love. I love going to have a massage, and I don't do it enough. I just don't find the time to do it. And I believe that's like top, really top. And a really good dinner that I did not cook. Like going to a Michelin star restaurant, because I love food. I'm a foodie. I've written a cookbook. I love food. If I wasn't a minister, I'd probably be a chef. When I'm sitting there and I'm tasting these divine creations and I'm going, oh my God, I'm in absolute awe. I'm happiest when okay, so let's combine it. Doing nothing on a day, watching cooking competitions. I'm in heaven on the Food Network. That's my favorite thing to do.
Oh, I got to tell you something. This is going to be exciting for you. So
Okay.
next week, as you know, I'm going to be traveling, and I'm going to be in New York City, and I am going to 11 Madison, which is a Michelin star restaurant, plant-based. What?
It's the number one Michelin star restaurant. Everyone see, they're like, people are they're in disbelief. How are you doing this? And people are walking out, they're shifting from meteors to plant-based after going. Matt's 11 is one of my like top places I need to drop into.
Yeah, what got me so interested, I didn't know anything about it. Somebody that used to be like one of the owners or managers or something, he wrote the book Unreasonable Hospitality, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it got me so interested. So that's like, and then to find out there's a plant-based, because I can't tell you how many dinners I go to and I'm eating like, a side of broccoli, or, people think something's vegetarian. So I will have so much fun in our check-in in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. There is a show that featured Madison 11, featured how they, and I think it was Becoming a Michelin Star. I think that's the name of the show, or anyway, just it's out there. Whole episode on how they shifted what fine dining looks like. And no one believed that they could do it. No one, the people was like, you're going from here to here, you're going to be out of business.
Yeah, because they were Michelin with meat. They were Michelin with animal products. And then the guy had an experience and kind of a revelation about, like how many cows are killed in a year and all the things. Yep. And he said, I'm going to do this plant-based. And you're right. Everybody said, no way.
And now everyone's dying to get into the restaurant. I think it's because the food is so good and word of mouth, but it's also, I believe, that curiosity that people are still going, how's he doing this? And what does it taste like? That's so good. Talk about a revelation and a revolution and a love to the planet. And to go back to this, the reason why I really began to stop eating so many meat products was because of how it is hurting our planet and how the gases from cows, and watching, the films we've all watched, Forks Over Knives, or we watch all the things that really kind of scare you. But then I had an awakening. This is about a year ago. How am I going to leave this planet? And I've always had this for the last 20 years. This is the work that we do at Agape, to leave this place a better place, to love the planet enough and understand that what we do is a love letter to 7 generations from this day on.
Yes.
And I really began to realize, how long are my showers? How long is the water? I mean, how much water am I wasting here? What's going? I don't waste water anymore. If I have water that's in a jug that's been sitting there, I want new water, I'll take it and put it into my water diffuser, and I'll use that water. I'll use it for the plants. It is so important that we realize our love letter to this planet is how we take care of it. A big part of that is how we raise our animals and how we kill our animals.
You know what? I appreciate, I respect, everybody that eats meat and all the things. I really do. I'm grateful to speak with you right now, because I feel like for so much of the last several years, my whole world, everybody around me that I'm close with, was vegetarian. And there's been this shift that's happened. And it seems like all the groups around me that I felt were like my people, they're still my people, but a lot of them have reverted, and they're choosing to get that animal protein for hormonal reasons or for metabolism reasons or whatever. And so I feel like the lone person out here. And it's really interesting, because I think a good thing to look at is, like, sometimes we do something and we become so rigid about it, and it's worth checking in, like, is this still me? Is this still my choice? And every time, like in my women's group, I'm the only vegetarian left. And I think when we started, so many of us were. And so I go to these meals, and there's like, people aren't thinking in terms of vegetarian because, whatever. So I started checking in with myself, like, is this still my choice? Is this still my thing? And there's no part of me that's really interested in changing what I'm doing, but I do feel very alone right now.
Don't feel alone, because I was one of them too. And I really have done the self-reflection about the shift. It's, right during the pandemic or before the pandemic, being at Agape, watching Michael Beckwith talk and what he does and his inspiration, it was easy to be inspired to be plant-based. It was easy. Or hanging out with Ricky Byers, and she has a concert coming up very soon. We'll talk about it later. But when I'm around her and she has a pot of beans on the stove, and because she's a friend of mine, and so I moved to Florida, and I was out of my comfort zone of people, because I would go to places, I would ask, what are your plant-based options? And when a server says, well, what do you mean by plant-based? That was it. So I would start saying that, or vegan, and they go, yeah.
Seafood.
One time I went to a restaurant and I was eating something, I can't remember, I think it was like beans or whatever. Yeah, these are vegetarian. And the beans have been cooked in bacon.
Pork or something.
I'm going, are these bacon bits? I'm going, yeah, but it's vegetarian. No, it's not. So having that awareness and in LA, having the incredible plant bases we have, that was so it was no longer really an inspiration for me. I shifted. I went back into, it wasn't after returning from Florida that I realized, I need to really revisit this. We started to really talk about this being in this iteration of our show. It's so important. And sometimes I do have the burger. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I will have a piece of chicken, but my focus is, how do I really love myself enough, the self within me, the spirit. I believe the spirit in me is continue to say, more plant-based, son, more plant-based, love, more plant-based, because it really shifts the planet.
Yeah, I know. I can't even believe it. I know we're going to be wrapping up, but I did want to just put the invitation.
Yeah.
What is it that works for you, as you're listening to this right now, to feel
Yeah.
self-love? Because food prep for me is self-love.
Yeah.
Making sure I have the things that I want to eat. Food prep is one. So I think this is going to be another to be continued.
I think it is. And tea, drinking tea these days have been talk about self-love, drinking tea. So good. Okay, we got to get out of here. But Rev, where can people, and on Instagram tomorrow, you're going to be posting some really incredible things, Rev.
I am. You got to check out this picture. It's so gorgeous and sexy, which I almost never post. So find me on Instagram at Rev Julie Moret. And you can also go to my website, juliemoret.com, and put in your email address. Our joke is that I send one email a year, but I will be teaching again soon. So you'll be able to see when and where I'm teaching, because that'll be the email. And then my book, What's Your What, is available on Amazon, and it is at 50% off. And I'm doing that as I gear up for the next book. So if you haven't scooped it yet, it is available. How about you?
I love that. Well, again, I am on Instagram, and I am at Rev Skip Jennings on Instagram, Facebook, and sometimes TikTok, but I'm just still trying to find some love for TikTok. I'm just not in the TikTok space right now. Or go to my website, skipjennings.com. I send out an email every week. So maybe we can, jump into our and find out when my next book's coming out as well. And I'm so grateful to say our event, our trip to Bali is pretty much sold out. We have a spot for one more person, one more woman who wants to come and share a room, doesn't mind sharing a room. And I do want to bring a light to something that's happening here at North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. We have an incredible concert that's coming up this Sunday. It is the Love Concert. We're continuing the holiday of Valentine's Day, the Love Concert, February 15th, 2 o'clock. It's $25. We do have some tickets left. We're almost sold out there. So I want you to hit me up, DM me, email me, or whatever you want. You can go to revskipjennings@gmail.com to email me about how you can get your tickets. So we got a lot to be celebrating
Ricky
for.
Is good as it gets. I just got to take a moment. Ricky is as good as it gets. I was just at a Dr. King celebration breakfast, and the way that I am moved in her presence by not only her singing, but what she says. So I know it's going to be stellar.
So
What's the
excited.
takeaway?
So excited. My takeaway is self-love. Love myself. Keep doing what I'm doing. Know that Spirit is well pleased with me.
Yes, Spirit
What's
is
yours?
well pleased
What's
with you.
yours?
My takeaway is I mentioned 3 things that are ways that I feel self-love, and my commitment is to make sure I'm getting those in. And I haven't done the dance one yet, so maybe by the next time we meet up, I will have signed up for one of those dance classes.
I love it. And thank you, everyone. We do adore you. And when you drop in, everyone, you can subscribe, make sure that you leave a comment. It helps our algorithm to get things out, get the message out there. And next week, we'll be doing a replay of one of our shows, and we'll be back live again in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
Be at that Michelin star restaurant.
Yes,
I got to tell you all about it.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be so amazing. I'm so excited for you. So excited.
Pictures.
All right, y'all. Until next time, remember, transformation is a choice you chose today because you dropped in with us. We're so grateful. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day, Rev.
That's right. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
See y'all soon.
Peace.